Video number 4. Digging the root cause of addiction in a person. In the past, addiction was viewed as stemming from an individual's moral failings and weaknesses of will. With the advances in scientific research, biological theories of addiction as a brain disease are now widely accepted. However, this point of view is still controversial. Let's have a look. Number 1. Reason for addiction. Addiction is a complex disease that forms as a culmination of many factors, such as genetic tendency, peer pressure, stress, experimentation, addictive personality, environment. Number 1. Genetic tendency. Addiction is considered moderately to highly heritable, meaning that genetics play a significant role in addiction. In other words, people who have relatives with addiction problems have an increased risk of developing an addiction themselves. Heritability of dependence on or abuse of specific drugs. Cocaine, 0.72 heritability, or 72%. Opiates, 0.70 heritability, or 70%. Alcohol, 0.55 heritability, or 55%. Sedatives, 0.50 heritability, or 50%. Marijuana or cannabis, 0.41 heritability, or 41%. Hallucinogens, 0.39 heritability, or 39%. Number 2. Peer pressure. Young people place a high value on what their friends think and do, and are keen to fit in with their peer group. There is also the fact that smoking, drinking alcohol, or taking drugs is seen as an act of rebellion. It is tempting to indulge in this behavior when part of a group, as many young people don't believe that it will lead to an addiction or even damage their health in the long run. Number 3. Stress. Stress is blamed for many of the problems in our society. Alcohol, cigarettes, caffeine, and drugs are used as a form of stress relief, but they only compound the problem. There are the effects of stress combined with the effects of the substance, which can easily spiral out of control. Number 4. Experimentation. Experimentation with drinking, drugs, or smoking can result in addiction. If you are part of a group of friends who are trying these substances, then you are more than likely to do the same. But sometimes it only takes one puff of a cigarette or that first line of cocaine and you're hooked. Number 5. Addictive personality. People have addictive personality means that they are more likely to turn to drugs, cigarettes, or alcohol than other groups of people. Number 6. Environment. A person's environment, or the people, places, and things that he or she is exposed to, can also influence whether or not an addiction develops. If you suffered abuse in your childhood, were neglected, or conversely treated very harshly, then that is a strong trigger for addiction. Number 7. Trauma. Adverse childhood experiences can be stressful, traumatic events that may lead to physical and emotional difficulties. Adverse childhood experiences include physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical or emotional neglect, witnessing violence, parental separation or divorce, having a family member with a mental illness, having an incarcerated family member, having a member who was addicted to drugs or alcohol. Number 8. Mental health. People who suffer from an anxiety or mood disorder such as depression or bipolar disorder are twice as likely to also have a substance use disorder. A person is said to have a co-occurring disorder or dual diagnosis when both a mental health disorder and an addiction are present. Number 9. Sensitivity. Some people are more sensitive to a particular substance than others. For example, caffeine. It may be the case that you can drink several espressos in a day and not be affected in the slightest, whereas another person will be climbing the walls after just one cup. Number 10. Type of substance. Some drugs are much more addictive than others. For example, cocaine, heroin, and amphetamines can cause addiction after just one use. Other drugs require several sessions before they result in addiction. Number 11. Availability of drugs. If a drug is easier to get hold of than others, then it will show higher rates of addiction than something which is difficult to obtain. Number 2. Psychological causes of addiction. Psychologists propose several possible causes of addiction. First, people may engage in harmful behaviors because of abnormality or psychopathology that manifests itself as mental illness. Second, people may learn unhealthy behavior in response to their environment. Third, people's thoughts and beliefs create their feelings. This in turn determines their behavior. To the extent that someone's thoughts and beliefs are unrealistic or dysfunctional, their behavior will be similarly affected. Number 3. How does an addiction start? Addiction can start from someone's first experimentation with drugs or alcohol, and it's something relatively innocuous, such as a social event. It can be seen as a form of escapism. Escapism through drugs, tobacco, or alcohol is also likely if you have an issue surrounding low self-confidence and esteem. The high that people experience is what causes cravings and a strong desire for the source of their addiction. People have their own reasons for the causes of their addiction, and it is a case of understanding and empathizing with them rather than pointing a finger of blame. No one is immune to the far-reaching effects of addiction. Addiction not only affects the user, but includes family, friends, and healthcare professionals. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video lesson.